Well, hey there, happy day 1071 of What's You Up To Now. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here, documenting my journey as I transition from the brick and mortar world to the online world of business. 2017 had the opportunity, as part of my divorce and all of that drama and trauma that goes along with that, had the opportunity to divest myself of all the things I'd previously done professionally and with respect to business and jump into something new. I was old enough that didn't want to go back to doing a lot of the things that I'd been doing with my ex-husband, but I also wasn't really young enough to retire and just be done doing anything in the world. I'd always been curious about the internet, so I thought, maybe this is the time that I actually check it out. I actually jump in and I find out, what is this online world about? What is this internet business stuff? What is this internet marketing all about? So I jumped in and started doing things like many other people, but didn't have a particularly good plan or strategy. Thought I did at the time, but it turns out, like so many other people, I got pulled down a lot of different rabbit holes, a lot of different directions, thinking and believing I had to know and learn and figure everything out for myself. Big mistake. But what I want to talk about today is expectations. I'm doing a couple of different things at the beginning of 2021 that I didn't do, and that I guess some of them I did last year, some of them I didn't. Taking a break from the Get Up and Go challenge and the SOAP framework, just because I did it 5 times. I did over 5 30+ day challenges last year, and I just thought, I'm going to start 2021 and reevaluate, how do I want to do that and what do I want to do with that. So taking a break from it, I realized I actually really miss it. I miss not doing it every day because it gives me and my life direction and purpose and a specific action that I'm taking every single day. So I would imagine that come February 1st, even though I've got a new grandbaby on the way, I will probably be picking that up again, maybe for a 30-day challenge, maybe for something else. I'm doing a new challenge this year called the 365-day challenge to do one thing every day that centers you or centers me. And so far, I found it pretty fun and pretty helpful. Today was all about making the most of things that come your way. Now, I love this because last year found so many people being victimized and feeling like a victim and focusing on what they couldn't do and can't do instead of what they can do. And that was a big theme of what I talked about last year, is we need to get over the stuff that's happened and that's changed that we really have no control over. We need to focus on the solutions and the moving forward on the things that we can do and that we can have control over. I talked about that a lot last year. So I really like that that's what today's challenge and being centered is about. It's about make the most of something that comes your way today. So I think this is going to be a fun challenge for 2021. I think 2021, seeing as 2020 was such a crazy, chaotic year, needs to focus on, and last year I did a lot of work on personal development and coaching and things to move my life and other people's forward in spite of all that was going on. We're wrapping up, still working on do one fun thing every day. Last year, turns out that fun was a fortuitous selection because it made it possible to keep moving through the year by doing and focusing on one fun thing every day. Now, I didn't start this until January 8th last year because I ran over with do one thing every day that makes you happy. So started this about the 8th, so we'll finish off about January 8th this year. So we're still also doing every day one fun thing every day and finding one fun thing every day. Today was about finding something fun, and if you could change one thing in your life, what would it be? I'd be curious. Share that in the comments below. If you could change one thing in your life today, what would that be? Supersize Your Business was about the idiom and the expression, the proverb, beggars can't be choosers. Now, beggars can't be choosers is an idiom and an expression that's been around since at least 1562, well before that, because John Hayward used it in his phrases and proverbs collection. He used to collect and publish proverbs and phrases and sayings that were popular at the time. And back in 1562, it appeared, Beggars Can't Be Choosers appeared in that publication. So it's been around for how long before that, before it actually made it into that publication. I was flabbergasted by this one. I know that people have a strange sense of entitlement sometimes, and a strange belief of being victims and that they're owed something when they absolutely positively aren't, right? We get what we put into our life and the world. We get that back in return. So I did a little exploring, and I found a site that talked about and actually presented and posted the 50 worst stories and examples of beggars can't be choosers. They call them choosy beggars, meaning people expect something for nothing and a lot and much, much more. And that if you don't give it to them, they absolutely verbally abuse you in writing, which is really frightening and scary to me, that people are so silly as they put their inappropriate, immature, victim mentality, ridiculous behavior in writing and documentation so that it can be reproduced on something like a blog. I only made it through the 36th story, and I had to stop looking at them. I was riding my exercise bike and doing some research, and I was like, I gotta stop looking at this because the stories were so appalling. I suppose I'll go back someday and I'll read the other ones, but it was enough that it just kind of shook my faith in humanity's ability to think for themselves, and so I had to stop looking at it. But it reminds me of taking a check. Every year I check in on certain things, and I do accountability checks on myself, and I check how am I doing against my goals and my objectives, how am I doing against my long-term things along the way all the time. And I guess it reminded me that sometimes we need to take a little reality check of ourselves and our own behavior. What are our expectations of ourselves and how we show up in the world? What are our expectations of the world around us? What are our expectations of those we love and care about? And are we living consistently with our core values with respect to how we're treating ourselves and other people? For example, we might have an expectation of how other people should treat us or talk to us, but we find ourselves talking to them in a way that we would never tolerate or expect them to talk to us in that way. Might be a tone of voice, might be the terminology or the verbiage that we use. It might be our tone of voice. It might just be we're criticizing and speaking in a harsh way, and we would never want other people to speak to us that way. We need to treat people the way we expect to be treated in every aspect and area of our life. So if you expect people to treat you with dignity and respect, guess what? You need to treat everyone else with dignity and respect as well. And sometimes we need to check our behavior. We all get that way, right? We're all human. But sometimes we forget that what we put out into the world is what comes back to us. And usually it comes back to us in a much bigger way than we expect. If I was with my family yesterday, so some of these dynamics and the things we don't think about pop up, and we get reminded of that. I live in a family where we're very high energy, and when we get together, everybody's talking at the same time. Everybody's talking over each other, and we forget that we don't like being talked over or finishing other people's sentences. I caught myself finishing one of my sister's sentences a couple of times, and when we were little girls, it was cute, but as grown-ups, it's really frustrating. And I saw the look on her face a couple of times, and I'm like, oh my God, I am so sorry. Because I try not to do that as much when I'm not with my family, because it doesn't feel good. It doesn't feel good when other people tell you what they think you're going to say, and maybe they're right some of the time, but a lot of times we're wrong, because we don't just tell people the things that we've always told them before. We want to tell them new things that we've discovered, new things that we've experienced. So sometimes we need those reminders to just check our own behavior and check our own actions, our own thoughts. And a lot of times in the morning, I'll do a review of what's interesting is listening to our thoughts, at least for me, in the morning, because I notice that the things I'm thinking about in the morning are the things that I last experienced before I went to bed. It's why I consciously choose not to get on my phone or my computer right before bed, because the last thing I see is going to be the thing that's in my mind, and my subconscious is going to be working on it all night long. And I don't want to waste that on somebody else's thoughts or ideas. I want to make sure that it's my thoughts and my ideas, my problems, my decisions, my choices, my ponderings or wonderings that I want to think about over the course of the night, not somebody else's. So curious, what are your expectations? What are your expectations of yourself and your own behavior? Do you hold yourself to as high or a greater standard of behavior and expectation as you hold other people? And if not, why not? Good question. That's it. That's what I'm working on today. I'm sure we'll be looking for a new challenge besides my little, do one thing a day challenges, because to me, these are just warmer uppers. some real challenges, a real challenge. And I'm not sure if it'll be get up and go going forward, probably because a lot of people are still in a slump from 2020, and they've let 2020 kind of pull and weigh and drag them down. And we want to bust out of that and move forward and do what's right for each and every one of us. Have an amazing day. If I can help you in any way, hit me up in the comments below. Otherwise, I'll be with you tomorrow. Let you know what I'm doing as I transition from the brick and mortar world to the online world. Take care.